Dad, I've been meaning to ask you something.
What is it, son?
A few years ago, you mentioned that Grandpa fought the war for us. What war was that?
The War of 1953.
Your grandpa doesn't like to talk about it, so why don't you go out and play?
No, it's about time the boy learned. You see, before 1953, much of the world was still blissfully unaware of the existence of kaiju, or at the very least unaware of just how many of us there were. Then came a monster named Rhedosaurus. And when I say monster, I mean that he was a complete monster. He's the one who first discovered unobtainium, on Tidal Island off the coast of South Africa. He learned of its energy-absorbing properties and began a cruel campaign where he drained his fellow monsters of their life force.
Like what cats did to Radiant X7, right, Dad?
Do you want to field this one, Dad?
Let me put it this way. At least cats had the decency to keep Radiant X7 alive. Rhedosaurus' victims weren't so lucky. He wiped out Deemer's tarantula, the Gornaxus, and even the Gillman.
But why?
He knew that if humans ever became universally aware of our existence, that they would strike first. He took many lives in an attempt to gain enough power to oppose them. In the end, his power level reached a staggering 100 billion.
How did you stop him?
Today there are a few monsters who would have been more than strong enough to take on Rhedosaurus, your mom included. But back then, even the most powerful kaiju we knew of only had a power level in the low billions. The strongest among us decided to form a resistance. Then it happened. In the heat of battle, he stomped on my tail, and it temporarily unlocked my hidden potential. I involuntarily unleashed a 750 billion yottajoule atomic heat ray that knocked him unconscious. We transported Rhedosaurus to the mines of Tidal Island, where his energy quickly diminished to a mere 8 million in the presence of the unobtainium. We built an energy barrier and sealed him away, but the world was never the same after that. The war was so violent that our activities didn't go unnoticed. Humans came to understand the scope of our presence, and decades of conflict followed.
Is Rhedosaurus still down there? I mean on Tidal Island?
Around March 24th, 2009, Mogura invited me to a timeshare sales pitch that he had put together on the surface of the island. But in the ensuing chaos, I stumbled upon the labyrinth of subterranean mines. There was no sign of Rhedosaurus.
But isn't everybody concerned then?
According to our records, there's no unobtainium missing. Only the amount we've been using for our industrial needs. So if he did escape, we don't think that he'll get into that much trouble.
Hey bro, can you watch Cerebi tonight? Cerebi sent out an invitation for us to visit Andromeda. I guess she wants to show off some of her new public works projects.
That's so strange. My wife was invited too, but not me. I am Celebi's favorite uncle after all. Do you know who else is on the guest list?
Not really, that's weird. Only I'm listed on the invitation. Oh, well, I guess my husband can watch Cerebi tonight. I wonder why she didn't invite him.
But Dad, why do we have to visit an old folks' home?
Because we are going to see your grandpa.
I have a grandpa?
Oh, didn't I tell you?
Who's that little old man?
Don't let his diminutive stature fool you. His name is Unusually Large Gorilla that attacked New York in 1933.
What?
King Kong. I said his name is King Kong.
Dad, what's that smell?
He probably crapped his pants, son. Here's your Grandpa Gojira. Hey, Dad, how's it going?
I'm hungry. Who's that?
This is your grandson, little Godzilla. Go ahead, son. Give the old man, who you've never met before in your entire life, who also happens to be a close relative of yours, a non-awkward hug.
No. Grandpa, in honor of meeting you for the very first time, I'd like to present you with a gift. It's an hourglass, just like the kind they used before now was invented. Dad, why is Grandpa freaking out?
Because a device illusion much like that hourglass is what killed your grandpa in the first place.
Killed him?
Yes, it was a device called the Oxygen Destroyer.
Yahoo! Yahoo! right.
You see, son, humans have an utter disregard for everything. So they took his bones and turned him into a robot.
And Grandpa just came back to life. Just like that.
The soul was attached to the bone.
That's an explanation I can live with. What happened?
Don't worry, Dad. You just had a horrific flashback. Let's go somewhere nice for dinner.
I want pad thai.
How about palak paneer?
I want plain meat on plain toast.
And I know just the place to get it.
My dentures get in the way sometimes. Dad,
He fought the war for us, son. Don't say anything.
Dad, if Grandpa's a robot, why does he need to eat?
This slop is too cold. Did somebody spit in it? That waitress is too short.
Dad, I'm really scared.
So am I, son.
Dad, why do you have an accent and Grandpa doesn't?
I spent some time in the Bering Sea.
I've got an idea.
Here you go, Dad.
We should all go fishing sometime. Then you can see why I have a lure. Get in a lure.
Well, it was nice seeing you again, Dad.
Dad, we don't ever have to go back and visit him again, do we?
He's your grandpa, son. At the very least, you have to.
Dad!
Nurse Destroyer, would you mind playing a board game or something with the patients? I have to go polish my welt. Who wants to play Parker?